Today we're going to get into the Quran's 10th chapter, Surah Yunus, and it's a really powerful, deeply logical text that, honestly, holds a central mystery, a kind of paradox that's had a lot of people scratching their heads.
So here's the puzzle. The chapter is named after the Prophet Yunus, who you might know as Jonah. But his actual story? It's mentioned in just one single, almost throwaway verse, right at the very end. So why would you build an entire chapter of 109 verses around a name that seems like it was just tacked on?
Well, the answer, and this is what's so fascinating, isn't found in the story of the man himself. It's all about the historical moment this message was delivered. To solve this puzzle, we have to go back in time, to a moment when this revelation was, quite literally, under siege.
Okay, so picture this. We're in the late Meccan period. The Prophet Muhammad has been preaching for over a decade now, and the opposition from his own tribe, the Quraysh, has escalated. We're way past simple mockery. This is now intense, organized hostility. The air is just thick with tension. So this surah, it isn't just another sermon. It's more like a final, powerful warning to a people standing right on the edge of a cliff.
And the attacks were just relentless. They dismissed the Quran's incredible eloquence as just obvious magic. They couldn't wrap their heads around the idea that a messenger would be this ordinary guy they grew up with. They even had the nerve to demand he change the revelation to suit their own ideas or just, bring a completely different one. And all the while, they were constantly taunting him, asking, "Where's the flashy miracle? Show us a real sign."
But the surah's response is brilliant. It doesn't offer them some big physical miracle. No. Instead, it systematically takes apart all their arguments with pure, undeniable logic. It corners them with questions about the very world they see every single day.
The surah just starts hitting them with this rapid-fire series of questions. And think about it. Who sends the rain that brings life to the earth? Who is the ultimate owner of your own senses, the very hearing and sight you're using this very second?
And it just keeps going, building the pressure. Who manages that incredible cycle of life and death, bringing a living plant out of a seemingly dead seed? Who is the ultimate administrator of this entire perfectly arranged universe? These aren't supposed to be trick questions. They're pointing to a reality that's just impossible to escape.
And this is where you see the rhetorical genius at play. Because the polytheists themselves, if you push them, would have to admit the answer to all those questions is Allah. They already knew He was the ultimate creator. And that's when the surah delivers the checkmate. Then will you not fear Him? It's like saying, if you admit He's the source of everything, how can you live a life that completely ignores that truth?
Then, to really expose their hypocrisy, the surah uses this powerful parable. Imagine you're caught in a violent storm at sea. The waves are crashing over your ship, and you are absolutely certain you're about to die. In that moment of pure terror, who do you call on? All those lesser idols and gods are forgotten, right? Instinctively, your soul calls out to the one true God. But the second you're safe back on land, you forget. This parable is showing that deep down, in our very nature, we are all monotheists. Polytheism is just a form of arrogant forgetfulness. And to that accusation that the Prophet just invented the Quran, it issues this legendary challenge. See, the Quraysh were the undisputed masters of the Arabic language. So the Quran tells them, okay, if you think this is man-made, go ahead, produce something like it, just one chapter. Call on all your best poets, your greatest speakers, even your gods for help. The fact that they could never meet that challenge is seen as the ultimate proof of the Quran's divine origin. So, after making this airtight logical case, the surah shifts gears. It moves to history. It's basically saying, hey, this whole situation, this isn't the first time this has happened, and it presents these historical case studies to show the Quraysh that they are walking down a very dangerous and very well-worn path. And the pattern is stark, and it's simple. First, a prophet arrives with a clear message. Second, the nation, usually led by its powerful and arrogant elite, rejects him. And third, inevitably, divine justice intervenes, saving the believers but destroying those who denied the truth. The very first example given is Noah, which immediately sets the stage. The stakes for the Quraysh just got very, very high.
And then the surah presents its star witness, Pharaoh. And just look at the parallels. He called Moses' miracles obvious magic, the exact same words the Quraysh were using. He was the absolute peak of worldly power and arrogance. But what happened when the water was closing in on him, when he was drowning? He finally declared his belief, and it was rejected. Too little, too late. His repentance wasn't sincere. It was born of desperation. And here's the crucial part.
God promises to preserve his body as a sign for everyone who comes after.
So, this pattern seems pretty unbreakable, right? Rejection leads to destruction. Case closed. But then, right after establishing this ironclad rule, the surah pivots and hits us with its dramatic climax. It reveals the one time, the only time, in all of history that this pattern was broken.
One. Just one. Out of all the nations, all the prophets, all the stories, there was only one single community that saw the punishment coming, turned back, and was actually saved.
And here it is, verse 98, the solution to our entire paradox. Then has there not been a single city that believed, so its faith benefited it, except the people of Jonah? The people of Yunus are the great exception. They are the ultimate counterexample to the people of Noah and to Pharaoh.
So what was their secret? What made them different? When they saw the signs that doom was on its way, they didn't wait until they were drowning. The entire community, all together, engaged in a sincere, collective act of repentance, and God accepted it. He lifted the punishment. This proves that the pattern of destruction isn't some blind, fatalistic law. It can absolutely be broken by genuine change.
So, what does this all mean for us today? This surah isn't just a collection of old stories. It's meant to be a timeless blueprint for resilience, something that offers real guidance and healing for anyone who's facing their own trials or feeling rejected.
You know, the Quran actually calls itself a healing for what is in the breasts, which is a really beautiful way of saying it's a cure for spiritual diseases like doubt and grief. It teaches patience by reminding us to trust in a divine timeline, not our own rushed one. The story of Yunus's people gives us this incredible hope, proving that a sincere return to God can literally change your destiny. And it gives this beautiful promise to the friends of Allah that for them there will be no fear and no grief.
So the core message, the thread that runs through this entire chapter, is one of just profound optimism. Never give up. Never ever despair. The results of our efforts might not be visible to us right away because divine guidance unfolds according to a perfect wisdom and a perfect timing that's way beyond our limited view.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. We started with a puzzle about a name, and we've gone on this journey through logic, through history, and through theology to find the answer.
And now it's crystal clear. The name Yunus isn't really about the prophet's personal story at all. It's a strategic, powerful message aimed squarely at the people of Mecca. After laying out this grim pattern of history, the surah is named after the one exception. It's a final, merciful call to action. It's as if it's saying, don't be like the people of Noah. Don't be like Pharaoh. Be the exception. Be like the people of Yunus.
And that leaves us with one last thought to chew on. We've seen how this 1,400-year-old text presents a really clear pattern of historical consequences, but also one great exception, one that was based on sincere collective change. So the question for us right now is, what does history's one great exception say about the power of our choices together today?